Imagine waking up one morning to find your spouse missing. No note, no calls, just a chilling emptiness where they should be. Now picture this. A week later, their car is found abandoned, miles away from home, with bloodstains on the passenger seat and a cryptic message scribbled on the dashboard. Trust no one. This isn't the start of some thriller novel. It's real life. And what happens next will shock even the most hardened detectives. Because sometimes the person sleeping next to you has secrets darker than you could ever imagine. This is the twisted tale of betrayal, deception, and a deadly obsession that drove one couple over the edge. The story begins with Emma and David, a married couple who seemed to have it all. A beautiful home, successful careers, and a loving relationship. But behind closed doors, things were not as perfect as they appeared. One morning, David woke up to find Emma's side of the bed cold and empty. There was no note, no text, and her phone was left behind on the nightstand. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. As the hours passed, panic set in. David called her friends, family, and even co-workers, but no one had seen or heard from Emma. His anxiety escalated when the police discovered her car abandoned near a remote lake, with the key still inside. On the passenger seat was a streak of what looked like dried blood, and on the dashboard was a message written in a hasty, trembling hand. Trust no one. David's world began to crumble as he found himself tangled in a web of mystery. What had happened to Emma? Was she in danger, or was there something much darker lurking beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect marriage? As the investigation deepened, detectives began to peel back the layers of David and Emma's life, revealing cracks that had long been hidden. Emma's closest friend disclosed that she had confided in her about feeling increasingly anxious and paranoid in the months leading up to her disappearance. She spoke of a shadow that seemed to follow her, a sense of being watched. She even hinted that David wasn't the man she thought he was. The police questioned David, and while he maintained his innocence, his responses were evasive. Why did he hesitate when asked if Emma had any enemies? Why did he seem more focused on shifting blame than finding his wife? Then a bombshell hit. Emma had taken out a substantial life insurance policy just 3 weeks before she disappeared, one that listed David as the sole beneficiary. To the detectives, this wasn't a coincidence. It was a motive. Suspicion began to swirl around David, but his behavior only grew more erratic. As he clung to his claims of innocence, doubts about his own account of events started to emerge. Just when it seemed that the pieces were falling into place and David's guilt was all but certain, a chilling discovery turned the case on its head. In Emma's diary, found hidden away in a dusty attic, there were entries about a mysterious friend named Lucas. This friend wasn't just a confidant, he was someone Emma had been seeing for months. The more the detectives dug, the darker Lucas's history became. He had a criminal record and a known obsession with Emma that bordered on the extreme. The spotlight shifted from David to Lucas, but something about it didn't feel right. David, once again, became frantic, as though he was being hunted by a truth he didn't want uncovered. The deeper the detectives pushed, the clearer it became that David and Lucas's lives were intertwined in ways neither had disclosed, and Emma had been caught in the middle of a game that neither man could afford to lose. The final piece of the puzzle came together when an anonymous tip led police to a remote cabin miles away from the lake. There they found Emma, alive but in shock, hiding from both David and Lucas. Her story was more twisted than anyone could have imagined. Emma revealed that she had discovered her husband's dangerous financial dealings with Lucas, a man David owed a substantial debt. The life insurance policy wasn't for her. It was David's desperate attempt to secure money to repay Lucas. When Emma found out, she confronted her husband, and things took a violent turn. Fearing for her life, she faked her own disappearance and left the trust no one message as a final warning, hoping the police would unravel the truth before it was too late. As the truth came to light, both David and Lucas were arrested, one for attempted murder and fraud, the other for aiding and abetting a crime. Emma's brave escape had saved her life, but the emotional scars ran deep. In the end, the story wasn't just about a husband's betrayal or a lover's obsession. It was about the darkness that can lie hidden behind the mask of a perfect marriage, and the dangerous lengths people will go to when driven by desperation and deceit.